Hi everyone, welcome to my vlog. This is Q&A vlog. Chantal, I'm going to answer your question. You have 6 questions. The first question is, so this is about pose technique, pose balancing technique in balance method acupuncture, right? The first question is how your pose technique would beneficial most illnesses, okay? First thing, this is not my pose technique. I learned it from Master Pan Xiaochuan, and I actually combine this technique with balance method acupuncture, and I'm going to explain more later on. How would it beneficial most illnesses? Okay, by taking the pose, we use both hands. We compare, for instance, different pose, 寸关尺 on both sides, and you know 寸关尺 represent different organs, right? We're actually treating the organs. We're balancing the organs. So organs, in Chinese medicines, organs are the root of the entire body, right? And the organ, we have qi and blood, right? And organs link to all the meridian. So let me ask you a question. For all the pain in your body, those pain are going to involve with meridian, right? Yes. Then meridian linked to organs. For the internal illness, they may not have pain to link to the organs, but they have other symptoms, right? Insomnia, constipation, all this thing. They all link to organs, right? So all illnesses with acupuncture, we use organs to bring a diagnosis. We use meridian, right? So organ and meridian connect together. So when we treat the pose, we treat the organs, which means, yes, it treats all the illness, not just one or two. It treats pain, it treats injury, it treats cancer, it treats diabetes, it treats all the organs in balance. I hope that gives you a good picture or image of what pose balancing technique can beneficial what sort of illness. It's all or most. All right, second question. How often do you use your pose balancing technique? Every single patient. Why is that? So since I learned pose and I realized that in 黄帝内经 it say before you needle patient, you must check pose, right? Ever since that, I check pose for all my patients. Now, when you check pose, now you know the pose, what situation the pose. You make a diagnosis, then you can use different technique. I use G acupuncture, I use scalp acupuncture, I use balance method acupuncture, I use acupuncture spirit to treat it. Any of this technique will change the pose. Now, question is whether you change the pose to the bad way or to the right way, right? So after the needle, the patient may feel better, but the pose actually got worse. Then what do? You relieve the pain, but you have to put some needle to change the pose back to the right track. Does it make sense to you? Right? Yes, I do check all poses for my patient, and I do most. If I do other technique for patient and the pose back to normal and the pain's gone, and I won't necessarily put more needle for changing the pose to balance the pose because the pose is good. But if I do other technique and I come over and check, oh, the pose is still not good, even though the pain's gone, I will put more needles according to the pose to balance the pose. All right. Third question, number 3. Is this best used with Dr. Tan balance acupuncture technique? Yes and no. Right, yes and no. Is it best? It's no then. It's not best. I can't say it's best because I developed my a little bit of what I call iron triangle with my iron triangle acupuncture technique, and you still use the pose to make a diagnosis, and then use the iron triangle principle to choose the point normally come with 6 points. And with those 6 points, it can actually cover, you will find it, and it actually fit in global balance. It fit in global balance, right? Let me do an example for you. Example, okay. Let's say, okay, let's say if this patient is the stomach and spleen are the strongest when you make a diagnosis, right? Which is the guan is the strongest. Now, when it's strongest, which means excesses, right? You want to reduce it. And how do you reduce it? One of the techniques we use is tie in yang ming. What is tie in? Tai in is Tai in yang ming has got lung, large intestine. So those what? Metal, right? And stomach and spleen, earth, right? And stomach and spleen are earth. Earth generate metal, right? Earth generate metal. When the post-diagnose, the diagnosis is the earth is too strong, are the strongest. Then we have to reduce the earth. Then what we're gonna do is reduce the earth, the sun point of the earth, which is the sun point of stomach meridian and spleen meridian. Then there's a principle when you reduce, we do the reduce technique. The principle is you reduce the sun point, right? And reduce the sun. And earth generate metal, and metal is the sun, right? And so we can reduce the sun point of metal as well, which is the sun point of lung and large intestine. So they make up to reduce stomach, spleen, lung, and large intestine. And that 4 meridian come to Tai in Yang Ming. So you're using Tai in Yang Ming to balance the pose. Does that make sense to you? I hope that makes sense to you. Okay, so you can, yes, you can use Dr. Tan's balance method, acupuncture, to balance the pose. I'm saying that applying the global balance, right? Right, number 4, is this pose balance technique your own? No, it's not. It's not my own. It's from Acupuncture Spirit, which is Master Pan Xiaochuan. I learned it from him, and I combined it in balance method acupuncture. Now, my experience, and I attended Dr. Tan's balance method class in the past, right? And Dr. Tan didn't use much, or most of the time he didn't use pose. In one cases, he used the pose to understand whether is the liver excessive issues or kidney deficiency issues, to choose to balance pattern, right? To choose the global balance, right? In this case, he really used the pose to tell which one's better, right? In other cases, I never seen Dr. Tan use pose to make a diagnosis, and according to the pose diagnosis, he choose the point. You know, this is what he never did that, right? That's what I understand. But if I'm wrong, please correct me. If you know more about Dr. Tan's technique that he actually used pose to make a diagnosis and put needle in, please let me know, right? Number 5, what's the difference between TCM pose taking and pose balance technique? I want to tell you that the pose balance technique is actually a TCM pose, okay? What you mean is the way that you learn from school, okay? Those school pose, they actually use 八干辩证, right? And you make the pose diagnosis, and you prescribe herbs, and have you ever do the needle according to that, and then you check the pose, oh, this pose is getting better? No, you're not doing that way, right? But we are actually doing this way, right? So this pose diagnosis is not for they're different pose the purpose of taking pose, making the diagnosis, and then we change the pose. Why is that? It's because in Chinese saying that say the pose are the windows, the poses are the windows of organs, qi and blood, or organ qi, right? So through the pose, you can understand the organ's qi's situation. Does it make sense? So how do we understand? We take it, we know which one is the weakest, which one's performing weak or excesses. Once you know which one's weak, which one is excess, then for the excess one, you do reduce technique. For the weak one, you do tonify technique. That's it. That's simple, right? And you want to know which one is weak, which one is strong, right? Through the pose. Simple. You don't have to ask a lot of questions. So we find out for the pose, we needle it, we check the pose again and see whether the pose has changed to change to the normal one, right? Yes, we can. This is what I'm doing. Now, for the other pose, I know that if you try to use pose to make a diagnosis, that kind of diagnosis is different. Like to tell patient, hey, you have headache. Hey, the pose tell that you have cancer. Hey, the pose tell that you have high blood pressure or high neck pain or shoulder pain. Yes, you can do that, but they don't actually. They use the pose to make a diagnosis like X-ray, like blood test, lab test, but they are not going to use the pose to actually guide you to choose the point to treat it. They're not doing it. If they're doing this, you're still doing it. If you're doing it, they don't recheck the pose and see how bad it is. Is it normal or not? We check the pose. We take the pose is try to change the pose to try to rebalance the pose. Rebalance means refunctioning the organs. I hope that makes sense to you. All right. Okay. Now next one. In the last one, which is the number 6, in your video, you did not use Dr. Tan balance method acupuncture. Yes and no. Okay. I'll explain that. What you say I did not use it is yes, I did not use local balance for the shoulder pain, right? I did not use local balance. But yes, I still used balance method acupuncture because I used the global balance. I use heat balance. Remember, I use heat balance. So you treat your father according to pose balance. Yes, that's correct. So my father have shoulder pain. Normally for acupuncture is to acupuncture 1, 2, 3, right? You get the 6th meridian, then you get step 2 balance meridian through the 6th balance system, and then you according for local balance according to the image or mirror, you choose the point, right? For me today, I take the pose, acupuncture 1, I take the pose, make the diagnosis. Acupuncture 2, I use the heat balance, and acupuncture 3, I actually insert the needles according to the point, according to the pose, and then I recheck the pose again, got better. It was that pose. I think it was, I can't remember which one. Okay, then it went down. Then he moved his arm again. It's gone. Pain's gone. So what does it mean? It means that the organs qi out of balance, they're affecting the meridian pain. So once you get the organs qi balance, then the meridians go better. The blood flow go better. And that's why instant relieve the pain. And that means you're changing the qi situation in the body. You actually balance the organs, right? By not targeting pain in here. In this technique, if patient had headache, diarrhea, insomnia, shoulder pain, you just put those needles, the pose change, the shoulder better, the headache should be better. then guess what? Insomnia is going to be better, and diarrhea is going to be better, right? So I learned acupuncture, balance method acupuncture from Dr. Tan, and I did local balance. It's great. It's great. I still use it. I'm not complaining, or I'm not actually judging that balance method acupuncture it's not good. No, it's very good technique, and I use global balance. But I came to a limit. The limitation is myself, right? I'm not saying that you have the problem. You may have the problem like me. When I practice global balance for internal organs diseases, I found that I got a little confusing. Some patients come in as no obvious conditions. They may have diarrhea. I don't know which global balance I need to apply, or sometimes I apply medical aid. It works very well. When it's not, I don't know where to change, right? I don't know which technique. Or I come to insomnia, and I choose some pattern. I keep changing. It got good results sometimes, but sometimes not. Then I confuse. What is there anything else that I can choose to make it better? Then yes. Then I thought about pose, and I didn't know that. I didn't know how to do that, and I learned from Master Pan, and I learned that, and I changed the pose, and now I take the pose, make a diagnosis, and according to diagnosis, I choose a pattern, global balance pattern, to treat it. Then it rebalance the pose. I know this patient is going to get better when they go home. So this is what I'm doing now. This is what I want to introduce to you and bring to you, apart from local balance image to choose the point, global balance image to choose the point, or Bagua, 5 elements, or you do conversion, meridian conversion to choose the point. There's another way, which is taking pose to choose the point, right? That's it for today. I hope I did answer all your questions. If you have any more questions, please put it down there, and I'm happy to make another video for you. And my 3 days live webinars coming up on the 26th to 28th of March 2021. Now, if you want to join my 3 days live webinar, you better off sign up soon before the 1st of March, because you're gonna get $500 discount. But if you have joined any others master classes, balance method acupuncture classes, you let me know. I'll give you big discounts, a bit more discounts. All right, that's it for today. Stay awesome. Bye bye.